In the vast expanse of scientific exploration, there exists a thin line between what we can explain and what defies our understanding. Today, I want to share with you the extraordinary story of Dr. James Norton, a former NASA scientist whose encounter with the unexplainable transformed him from a staunch skeptic to a believer in phenomena beyond our current scientific understanding. Dr. Norton spent over 2 decades at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, where he worked on some of the most groundbreaking space missions of our time. His analytical mind and unwavering commitment to the scientific method made him a respected figure in the field of astrophysics. Throughout his career, he had dismissed countless claims of paranormal experiences and UFO sightings as mere misinterpretations of natural phenomena or products of overactive imaginations. "Science is about evidence," he would often say during lectures. "Without empirical data and reproducible results, we're just telling stories." This philosophy guided his work and shaped his worldview, until a winter night in 2018 changed everything. It was December 14th, and Dr. Norton was conducting routine observations at an observatory in New Mexico. The facility, located in a remote area chosen specifically for its minimal light pollution, offered an unobstructed view of the night sky. Norton was alone that night, as his research assistant had called in sick. The isolation didn't bother him. In fact, he preferred the solitude when working on his personal research projects. Around 11:30 p.m., as he was documenting stellar movements, something unusual appeared in his peripheral vision. Initially, he dismissed it as a satellite or perhaps a meteor, but when he adjusted his telescope to get a better look, what he saw defied conventional explanation. A luminous object was moving across the sky in patterns that violated the laws of physics as we understand them, making sharp, angular turns at incredible speeds without any apparent loss of momentum. "My first thought was that there must be something wrong with the equipment," Dr. Norton later recounted in his journal. "I cleaned the lenses, recalibrated the instruments, and even stepped outside to observe with my naked eye. But the object was still there, performing maneuvers that no known aircraft could execute." For nearly 40 minutes, Dr. Norton observed and meticulously documented the object's movements. He captured video footage, took photographs, and recorded detailed notes about its behavior. The object eventually accelerated at an impossible rate and disappeared from view, leaving Norton with evidence that would challenge everything he thought he knew. But the truly transformative event occurred after the sighting. When Norton returned to his small cabin near the observatory, he found something that sent chills down his spine. On his desk lay a small metallic object that hadn't been there when he left. It was roughly the size of a coin, but with an unusual geometric shape, a perfect dodecahedron with symbols etched into each face that resembled no known language. Norton's scientific training immediately kicked in. He documented the object's appearance, measured its dimensions, and attempted to determine its composition. But every test he conducted yielded perplexing results. The object appeared to be made of an alloy unknown to modern metallurgy, and it exhibited properties that defied our understanding of materials science. Most notably, the object maintained a constant temperature of exactly 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, human body temperature, regardless of its environment. When placed in a freezer, it didn't cool down. When heated, it didn't warm up. It also seemed to have its own gravitational field, causing small objects placed near it to orbit around it in perfect circles. "I've spent my entire career searching for evidence of advanced technology beyond Earth," Norton wrote. "I never expected it to literally land on my desk." The following weeks were a whirlwind of private research and internal conflict for Norton. He knew that going public with his findings would likely result in ridicule from his peers and potentially end his career. The scientific community can be merciless toward those who make extraordinary claims, especially without peer-reviewed evidence. Yet he couldn't ignore what he had experienced and the physical evidence in his possession. After 3 months of intensive research and documentation, Norton made the difficult decision to share his findings with a select group of colleagues whom he trusted. Their reactions were mixed. Some dismissed his claims outright, suggesting he had fallen victim to an elaborate hoax. Others were intrigued but skeptical, requesting more rigorous testing of the object. One colleague, Dr. Sarah Chen, a quantum physicist, agreed to examine the object under laboratory conditions. What she discovered only deepened the mystery. The object appeared to emit patterns of energy that resembled quantum entanglement, but on a macroscopic scale, something theoretically impossible according to our current understanding of physics. Whatever this is, Dr. Chen told Norton, it operates according to principles we haven't yet discovered. This isn't just advanced technology, it's technology based on a different understanding of the fundamental laws of the universe. The turning point came 6 months after the initial sighting. Norton was working late in his home office when the power suddenly went out. In the darkness, he noticed that the mysterious object had begun to glow with a soft blue light. As he approached it, the symbols etched into its surface began to project onto the walls around him, forming complex, three-dimensional mathematical equations that seemed to describe a unified theory of physics, something scientists have been pursuing for decades. Norton spent the entire night documenting these equations, which appeared to reconcile quantum mechanics with general relativity, a holy grail in theoretical physics. When dawn broke and the projections faded, Norton was left with pages of notes containing mathematical concepts that were both familiar and utterly alien. I realized then that I was dealing with something far beyond a simple UFO sighting, Norton later explained. This was evidence of intelligence that has solved problems we're still grappling with. The implications are profound, not just for physics, but for our understanding of our place in the cosmos. In June 2019, Norton made the difficult decision to resign from NASA. His resignation letter cited personal reasons, but to his closest associates, he revealed the truth. He could no longer reconcile his experience with the institutional constraints of his position. He established a private research foundation dedicated to studying the object and the mathematical principles it revealed. Today, Dr. James Norton continues his work outside the mainstream scientific community. He has published several papers in alternative journals, detailing his findings while acknowledging the skepticism they inevitably face. A small but growing network of scientists from various disciplines has joined his research efforts, intrigued by the possibilities his discovery suggests. I understand the skepticism, Norton said in a rare interview last year. If someone had come to me with this story 5 years ago, I would have been the first to dismiss it. But when you hold evidence in your hands that challenges everything you thought you knew, you have a choice. Ignore it to preserve your worldview, or follow where it leads, even if that path takes you beyond the boundaries of established science. The most fascinating aspect of Norton's transformation isn't just his shift from skeptic to believer, but his approach to his discovery. He hasn't abandoned the scientific method. Rather, he's applying it rigorously to phenomena that most scientists won't even consider worthy of investigation. He continues to seek reproducible results, peer review, and alternative explanations for his findings. Being a believer doesn't mean abandoning critical thinking, he insists. It means being open to evidence that might expand our understanding of reality. The universe is under no obligation to conform to our current scientific models. Norton's story raises profound questions about how we approach the unknown. The history of science is filled with paradigm shifts, moments when new discoveries forced us to reconsider our fundamental understanding of reality. From Copernicus revealing that Earth isn't the center of the universe to quantum physics demonstrating that particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously, scientific progress often requires us to embrace concepts that initially seem impossible. Perhaps the most compelling aspect of Norton's experience is the physical evidence, the mysterious object that continues to defy conventional analysis. Unlike many accounts of paranormal encounters, which rely solely on testimony, Norton has something tangible that others can examine. While the scientific establishment remains skeptical, the object's unusual properties have been documented by multiple researchers under controlled conditions. Critics argue that there must be a conventional explanation. Perhaps the object is an experimental technology from a classified military program, or maybe Norton himself has been deceived by an elaborate hoax. These are valid considerations, and Norton acknowledges them. But after years of investigation, no conventional explanation has adequately accounted for all the object's properties. The simplest explanation isn't always the correct one, Norton points out. Sometimes the simplest explanation is that we're encountering something truly new. For those following Norton's journey, his story represents more than just another claim of extraterrestrial contact.